Thank you guys for watching the Animal One Guys YouTube channel. If you like my content, leave a comment down below. Ask me questions, let me know what you liked about it. And hey, click on the little like button. But please, if you want, go ahead and subscribe, because it helps my channel out. That way you can stay up to date with all my videos. And if you want, click on the bell icon to get notified. Right? Right? Huh? 1 out of 2. Not bad. Good morning, everyone. What are we going to talk about in today's video? Well, what we have in front of us, you may remember her from another video. This is the leatherback bearded dragon. Her name is Jack, and she's about to turn 8 years old. And that's right, I said her. And when you look at this, like from my other videos, this is a bearded dragon that is just ginormous. And this goes into some of the problems that we see, and that's why in this video it's really important when I'm talking about the online recommended weights for bearded dragons. Mostly can't be trusted, are mostly wrong, and you shouldn't even use them for references. Why? Here's the problem. One is they give you an estimate, and they typically say measure from snout to vent, and then this is the weight that they should be. Okay. That's wrong, and I wouldn't use any of that, and there's a reason why. So Jack, you know, most people will look at Jack and they will assume that this is a male bearded dragon. This is a big 24-inch bearded dragon. It's 2 feet, you know, and look at the size of this head. This bearded dragon's head is ginormous. It's a male's head, but it's not a male. Big beard, big puffy jowls. This is a strong and proud lizard, which have these typical signs of being a male. The problem being, even if this was a male, and we went by all the charts for what a male bearded dragon should weigh, because again, guys, males typically weigh more than females, typically, and if you look at the literature, 99.9% of the time, right? This is almost a thing that's unheard of. But even if we then put this female, who by female bearded dragon standards would be considered morbidly obese, and by male bearded dragon standards in the books, in the literature books, would also be considered morbidly obese, only slightly less. This bearded dragon weighs, and I'll show you, weighs over 700 grams. That's going to be considered obese on most scales, or morbidly obese. Jack is underweight. If you look at Jack's fat pads, they are sunken in. And if you look at Jack's back, hip, and tail area, they are sunken in, although not as bad. Jack lost a lot of weight during her 4 to 5 month brumation, and this weight now needs to be put back on. But that means Jack, to be healthy, when looking at her, she's going to be a 750, 755, possibly 760 gram weighing bearded dragon, which on every scale is going to say grossly morbidly obese, just off the scale. My 700-pound life. And so that's why we can't look at just these old literature numbers, and we have to look at the bearded dragon's body and what is healthy for your bearded dragon. Right? So I've talked about these signs before, but these are things we have to look at. And where fat is lost from. Fat's lost from the fat pads on the head. Then fat is lost from the fat reserves right around the tail here. Back, hips, and tail. And you'll start to see the hip bones here. And the spinal cord here. So you see these divots here. And then obviously the fat pads are here. Now Jack eats, guys. Jack, since waking up from brumation, has put on 30 plus grams of weight. That's a lot of weight. She just needs to pack on even more. And so you should ignore the literature and look at the bearded dragon for being underweight. Typically, it's really easy for people to tell if your bearded dragon is overweight because they look fat and pudgy. But what about if they're underweight? So again, fat pads, these should be nice and full and not sunken in. And tail should be nice and full. You shouldn't see the hip bones, and you shouldn't see the spinal cord going down the bottom there. Another check you can do typically when they're starting to get underweight is if you pet or rub the areas in the back here, because there's a less amount of fat, it'll actually sometimes irritate their back legs and make the muscle spasm a little bit. Pretty standard stuff that you can see. If you watch, we're going to try to get it to occur here. Let's see if we can. We're going to try to get this leg, although I don't want to be a liar. So we got this area is all underweight. Let's be a little bit more sensitive, and let's see what we can do. Yeah, oh yeah. See that? Hopefully it comes out on camera. Oh, you can definitely see a little bit of a tremor that I'm causing there. Not causing the bearded dragon any pain. Watch, I'm still doing it. Right, it's just like when you're having a little bit of a muscle spasm. I'm not causing you any pain. Everything's fine. But you can just see that that area needs a little bit more fat, a little bit more energy to be able to control everything back there. That's fine. Now, the other thing is, Jack is turning 8 years old. It can get hard for elderly bearded dragons to hold weight. So there's supplements, probiotics to help with their appetite, or ReptiBoost and things like that to help put a little bit extra fat in the amount of food that they eat. Now, Jack is kind of the opposite. Jack eats a lot. Jack ate 3 dubia roaches, 4 superworms, and a huge helping of turnip greens. So Jack is eating, but there's another problem with Jack. And some people have them, not only with elderly bearded dragons, but with all bearded dragons. Jack is crazy. She's super hyperactive. If you put her on the floor, Jack will run, she will climb, she will just run nonstop. She'll run on the carpet, then she'll run on the hardwood and slide on the hardwood. She climbs underneath, she wedges herself underneath dressers. She tries to wedge herself underneath doors. She'll climb over clothes. She'll try to climb up bags. She'll try to climb mirrors. If she's on the bed, she'll try to kamikaze jump off of it. Sometimes she'll run nonstop for an hour. So that's going to burn calories, right? And so there's your other problem with weight. So sometimes you guys know you have this bearded dragon and they're crazy. So you have to take all these variables in, guys, instead of just what was written for weight. And the interesting thing is, whenever you look online, everyone's saying the same weight. You know, the articles are almost copy and pasted of each other. Sometimes they make the charts look a little bit different, plus or minus 10 grams, whoop-de-doo. But you don't go by that. Go by the bearded dragon's body, lifestyle, look, and everything that you've been used to, you know, especially when you've had a lizard for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 plus years. You know the bearded dragon, right, Jack? Right. You know your bearded dragon, and you know what healthy looks like. And a lot of times, guys, people will say, oh, the bearded dragon is getting old. They'll ignore the fat pads, they'll ignore the back showing hips, and they'll just think everything is fine. It's not fine. You need to help gain that weight. Maybe increase the bugs, right? Increase the protein, increase the fattiness that they eat. Instead of doing bugs once a week, you're doing bugs 3 times a week, 4 times a week, every other day type thing. They're getting a bug, or maybe every other day they're getting heavy bugs, but when they eat their greens, they are getting 1 bug as well. Give it that good fat, that good protein, until it gets filled up, and then stabilize it. All right, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Just an info video, because I know a lot of people do this wrong, and we don't want bearded dragons to die young lives. Take care, everyone. Thank you guys for supporting my reptile rescue family.